All right, this is Chris's comments, show of common sense on common ground, and you're going to hear it especially concerning those two variations, common sense on common ground. It's Saturday, August 13th, 2022. This article comes from a website called townhall.com, which is going to be good for a laugh because it's just dumb. At least this one article. I haven't gone through the entire site, and so far I don't have the initiative to. It starts with Texas trolls sanctuary cities with a subtle dig on the form migrant signed before being bussed. Okay? Texas trolls sanctuary cities with a subtle dig on the form migrant signed before being bussed. Okay. First, I'd like to point out on one of my last posts entitled Abbott's Bus Scheme Again. On that Abbott's Bus Scheme Again, Abbott and the administrative was being questioned as to why there was very little coordination or a lack of coordination coming from Texas when these migrants were being bussed. Well, it turns out those bus drivers, the bus company that those bus drivers were working for, that were transporting the migrants, had a non-disclosure agreement that does not allow them to communicate with the city of New York. So when they questioned any and every Texas representative and persons of the administration all the way to Governor Greg Abbott, well, they dodged answering why the non-disclosure agreement was being done, and they just said, "Hey, look, these migrants signed a waiver. These signed a waiver." Which doesn't answer the question why the buses are not communicating with New York and D.C. But they said they signed a waiver that agreed to go to multiple cities, which technically was only two, Washington, D.C. and New York. And they signed the waiver under multiple languages, and it was a consent form. Okay. That being said, this site later, a couple of days, comes in, townhall.com, where it shows where it displays the actual waiver and says, well, Governor Greg Abbott was right. They signed waivers. Again, still not answering the question as to why the bus company was in a non-disclosure agreement into not communicating with New York and DC. But that's but moving on to this particular subject, the waiver incident. The writer of this, and I forgot to write his name down. I do apologize, but I think it goes without saying that it doesn't matter who, given the website townhall.com. The writer continues with two sentences in one paragraph. The first one: the reason why Texas is unable to send the buses to the ports of entry to deport the migrants is because the migrants have been processed by Border Patrol and are in the system to evaluate their asylum claims. Now, that's an asylum seeking process. That's what's supposed to happen. This person, whoever he is, wrote it down as if it's some kind of, my God, what have we gotten into kind of, statement, which is, it's dumb. It's dumb because if you look at it on common sense, on common ground, you'll see it's an asylum seeker process. That's what's supposed to happen. The second half of the paragraph again is just two sentences. The second sentence: the Texas Department of Public Safety has been recently picking up recent illegal border crossers who have yet to encounter Border Patrol and dropping them off at the nearby port of entry. Did you get that? The Texas Department of Public Safety is not abiding by asylum seeker processes. Instead, the Texas Department of Public Safety is picking up migrants who've not gone through the process and taking them back to nearby port of entry. Okay, I understand that that's going to make a lot of conservative extremists out there happy. Okay, I get it. That's what they want to see. That's what they want to hear. They got the immigrant, and now they're kicking them back onto the other side of that border. Ha ha ha. It's just downright stupid because it doesn't solve the illegal border crossings. Those that get deported are just coming right back. And there's also a scheme to this conservative extremism by the political leaders in the counties that are on the border. I've already discussed this before about how they're claiming that once these migrants cross over, they're being overwhelmed and it's an invasion and, you know, there's chaos. It's all madness and all this crap. Technically, as you're now finding out, those of you who aren't familiar with the BS that's going on down here in Texas, technically where you're finding out that it's the same illegals that are being kicked out to the other side that are just crossing back over, that are getting sent back to points of entry. They're not really even getting, you're thinking like they're getting catapulted or they're getting a big boot to the ass and they're flying on to the other side of the river, and blah blah blah. That's the picture that you're imagining when you hear these things. But technically, they're being dropped off at the nearby port of entry. That's it. They're being dropped off at a nearby port of entry where they're being sent to cross the bridge, over the river, back onto Mexican soil, where guess what? They're at it again, crossing into the U.S. territory. That's what's happening. So the Texas Department of Public Safety once again is being this worthless piece of crap law enforcement that's not protecting you when they do this. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry about that. I had to yawn. Now, here's where it becomes a joke. Editor's note. Right at the very end of the article. We've been to the border. We've seen the crisis. Help us continue to expose the truth the liberal media won't show you. And then, of course, there's a donation box where you can donate. Okay. What crisis? This is my reaction now. This is my comment, Chris's comment. A show of common sense on common ground, and commonly, it's a very reasonable question. What crisis? All the posts that I posted so far concerning this are people who are asylum seekers, people that are getting caught and apprehended wherever there's no razor wire, and they're getting processed along the border. There's no crisis when there's no invasion. What invasion? And I've said this before. I can't remember which post, but I'm going to say it again on this one. What invasion are you talking about? There's no lands that are being destroyed. You get a couple of migrants that are jumping fences and passing through, yeah. But there's no lands being destroyed. There's no cattle being slaughtered and devoured. There's nothing like, there are no orcs passing through, or whatever it was those creatures were on Lord of the Rings. There's no immortals like on 300 burning down towns and villages and slaughtering cattle and raping the horses and killing the women. What crisis? What are you talking about? There are no barnyard fires. There are no church burnings. There's no there's no farmer and his son hanging off of a tree, with a crying, violated women folk. There's nothing like that going on. Nothing. What the hell crisis are they talking about? The media won't show you. Help us to continue to expose the truth. The media, liberal media, won't show you. You guys have been down there. You just said that. You said you've seen the crisis. There's a lot of people down there that are saying that the liberal media isn't telling you to. A lot of people down there that believe this crap. But none of them are exposing the truth. Okay? None of them. There would have been sites like this on those, on those underground sites. I don't want to name them, but there would have already been exposed photographs and video and all this other stuff showing the onslaught. You don't even have them. You don't have them catching them in the act of this invasion, like the way an invasion Russia does on Ukraine. You don't have them having the aftermath of slaughtered bodies, like there are where cartels have on the other side of the border, where cartels have actually hit. They've pulled over busloads of people and slaughtered them on the side of the road. They've gone into towns where they've killed people. They show photographs of themselves taking selfies next to the dead bodies. And every single one of these conservative extremists are saying that those are the people that are here right now. And that they're already doing this garbage. Prove it. Prove it. What liberal media is stopping you from filming this crisis? What liberal media is stopping you from using the internet to exploit traffickers, rapists, drugs, thieves, and all this other stuff? Excuse me. Sorry, I forgot this is YouTube. Where's your photographs? Where's your photographs of your dead people lying on the floor? Where's your photographs of the slaughtered cattle? Where's your photographs of burnt villages and burnt barns with dead horses, and killed puppies and all this stuff? What crisis? What are you talking about? Expose the truth the liberal media won't show you. What truth? What truth? What is it that the liberal media wants to hide? And how in the world are you not using? The internet is there for everybody. You expose through a different form of media. It does whatever ugliness that goes on. You mean to tell me somebody can record somebody getting hit by a car and put it on YouTube, but you can't show one illegal trafficker destroying lands and burning villages and killing people and in an overwhelmingly method. So I guess it's not one trafficker. If it's overwhelming, that means there's a lot of traffickers. It means there's a lot of people slaughtering and killing and invading and bombing and burning and raping and drug sellings and stuff. You're not showing a damn bit of footage or photos of any of that stuff. None. How many Americans out there? This is an invasion. How many Americans out there are actually being killed? Where's the families that have been laid across on the side of the street to teach all of us a lesson to stay away and not stop them? Huh? Where's the slaughter? Where's the onslaught? What family is dead right now on a border town in the county? And if that's the case, how come those counties like McKinney that has only 8 deputies, how come those 8 deputies aren't dead yet? If there's an invasion going on, if there's this onslaught going on, this crisis, how come those 8 deputies aren't killed yet? How are they still alive? How's the mayor still alive? How's the coroner? How come there's no bodies put in freezers and stuff? We got bodies that had to be placed in trailer tractor, air-conditioned trucks because they couldn't fit in the morgues. And in those little towns along the border, we had stuff like that over in New York, where there were plenty of morgues to put COVID-19 infected bodies on ice. And then it was so overwhelmed that they had to be put into trailer tractors, refrigerators, trailer tractors with the freezers, that's normally supposed to be transporting frozen foods. They put cadavers in those outside the hospitals to keep them. That is overwhelming. This bull crap, where only 8 deputies, where a county can be run by only 8 deputies, is not overwhelmed. It's not done by an invasion. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. How are they not killed? How are the 8 deputies' bodies not on the side of the road to set an example, not to mess with them? If this is such an invasion. Total BS. This, by the way, was townhall.com. Yeah, they're the ones that are saying that they've been to the border, that they've seen the crisis, and they want you to help them continue to expose the truth the liberal media won't show you. And then there's a donation, whatever, join the membership and all this other crap button at the very end of the site. Townhall.com. Enjoy your membership. Enjoy reading this crap that's there. That's exposing that's supposedly exposing what the liberal media won't show you. So that's my spiel. Once again, this garbage. Texas Department of Public Safety needs to be redone. It needs to be reformed badly. I'm not saying removed, because before all of this crap, it was actually a good agency. Now it's just this worthless piece of crap. It picks up illegals, and instead of processing them, arresting their trafficker, and processing the defenseless, they're just sending them back to the border, where they have to undergo this horse crap again. Where the United States, has to go through them coming over here illegally again. The crisis. And I'm sorry if this just seems too harsh, but honestly, they've been yapping and yapping and yapping this entire time, complaining and accusing, fear-mongering, all this garbage about invasions and crisis and bullcrap. And yeah, there are media organizations that are saying crisis at the border, what to do, and all this stuff. But they're showing 0 killings, 0 butcherings, 0 crises, 0 invasions. Okay? They're showing nothing like that. Liberal or non-liberal media. There's no vicious family killings. There's no lands burnt. There's no houses incinerated. No cattle slaughtered. There's no farm ranchers. Mexicans that think they're cute will pull food out of the farmlands and go down to transport that food to a street corner and try to sell that food But even still, in the border towns where it's triple digits, from spring to fall, it's just not likely to even that to be going on while they are dehydrating to death. Nobody's really doing anything harmful to anybody. In point of fact, it's more than likely here in the cities where somebody's doing that. Somebody's being a punk, taking somebody else's food and trying to sell it, at a street corner somewhere. No differently than they used to back when VCRs was the big deal. And DVD players. You could get a $500 DVD player, for only $100, 1/5 of that, because there'd be a nasty scratch over the serial number that makes it impossible to trace it, to trace the sale. You're not getting anything like that. You're not getting anything throwback from the throwback days, any more than you're getting any of this garbage that's being posted. Invasion, crisis. Invasion is a strong word, man. For sure, man. Sorry about that. I just caught myself. But yeah, I mean, there's no giant fires. The only fires that exist right now are wildfires from campers or a douchebag arsonist. Douchebag to society arsonist. It's just dumb. So that's the spill. The waivers that are the migrants are being forced to sign, again, only give two choices: DC and New York. A lot of them already have a destination that they're supposed to go into: Chicago, Maryland, North Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, Miami. All these destinations where migrants are always put to good use. Cheap labor. It doesn't cost these corporations anything. But that's what goes on, and that's what the people are supposed to be going to. And the only thing that my worthless governor, his administration, and everybody that's on his side, the followers and people that are making up sites like this, townhall.com, to show that there's true Americanism going on and all this crap, they're all trying to distract you with that waiver. They're waving a piece of paper in front of you. Look, it's legit. It's legit. Look, it's legit. Which they might fall under the lines of being the right to use these powers to make these decisions. Obviously, nobody is disputing that. What everybody is frowning at, though, is the BS methods that they're using. This whole busing with a non-disclosure agreement, is one. This whole misuse of the Department of Public Safety, where they're not even capturing criminals, they're just capturing illegal border crossers and taking them back to the closest port of entry. Where the crossers are coming over again. Now, they're not even arresting them. They're not arresting any traffickers. They're not confiscating any drugs. They're not removing any weapons. They're not even doing tests. They're not even doing COVID tests. Again, they're just capturing them and dropping them off at the nearby port of entry. So complete misuse of Department of Public Safety, a form of law enforcement. An overusage of the Border Patrol. These Border Patrol are supposed to grabbing these asylum seekers and putting them into holding facilities, where here in Texas, there's about 4 different agencies that work for Homeland Security and immigration and such that work with SWK, Southwest Key Estrella is one of them. SOS1 is another one. And many others that are off the top of my head, but that are not on the top of my head. But I'd have to look up, and I just really don't want to because I'm on the time. But there's about 4 of them that are being used right now. Where they're supposed to be doing all of the asylum seeking data processing, not Border Patrol. Border Patrol is supposed to be doing their job in arresting traffickers and bringing asylum seekers to the holding facilities where they're supposed to be processed. Instead, Border Patrols are the ones that are doing the processing, which just prevents them from grabbing and arresting traffickers. And the Department of Public Safety, well, they're just as worthless. They're capturing people and sending them straight to the border at the ports of entry, and that's it. And all the time that's going on, my worthless governor is busing people with a non-disclosure agreement saying you can't tell New York or DC that you're going over there, dropping them off right now, when you're dropping them off, how much longer it takes for them to for you to get there, with not providing an ETA, and you're just going to go over there, drop them off, and then come right back. And when being questioned about that, they say, no, hey, they signed a disclaimer. See, disclaimer, which, is a legitimate disclaimer. Nobody's refuting that. Nobody's arguing that. The only thing that everybody can't stand right now about our Texas governor, our worthless Governor Greg Abbott, is the fact that he's doing this thing that he's doing without following a process of communications. New York is a sanctuary city. They're not going to have a problem with taking in refugees. They'd like to know how many are coming, and they'd like to know when, but they're not getting that. Instead, they're being told, waiver. They also like to know as to whether or not that's their final destination. Again, most of them have a final destination to Chicago, Miami, and Maryland, North Carolina, Alabama, and Georgia. Okay? These migrants have destinations. What are you doing complicating things? What is my governor doing complicating things? Well, he's being this worthless governor is what he's doing. He's just, again, a worthless governor that we really got to get rid of. But it's a difficult thing to get accomplished because, once again, the majority of Texas believes in Greg Abbott. Somebody like me, you and I are completely outnumbered by the majority of this state that literally believes they're safer. That literally believes Abbott is a genius. That literally believes that everything is going fine as long as it's going their way. We've got a long way to go. Those of us that can obviously see through all this garbage that's going on. We got a long way to go. So all of you out there who is not in Texas, please keep your fingers crossed for us. Say a little prayer. Because as you can see, it's August 13, 2022. A couple of years have already passed by. And the majority of my Texas is still saying, there's a crisis. We're invaded. This is overwhelming. and nobody, liberal media doesn't want you to know. They're still saying this garbage. They're still saying this crap. 2 years have gone by. 2 years have gone by, and technically it's been going on since before that. I remember 2015 when the El Salvadorians were coming over here in the hundreds of thousands. You know, there were Hondurans, there was Argentinians, you know, not Venezuelans and Guatemalans now, and it just, you know, in giant groves. And now it's an invasion. Everybody's saying it's an invasion. And get this, the majority of my Texas believes it. Despite the fact that there's no physical evidence of it. So, we got a long way to go. That's all I really wanted to disclose. This crap that's going on, it's the same crap that's going on, and it's just through method of showing a waiver, of posting a waiver on the internet for all to agree. The internet will let you post a waiver, but it won't let you expose the truth about the media, liberal media, that there's an invasion and all this other crap. Did you get that? You go to townhall.com and they will literally show you the waiver. But that's it. No pictures of the invasion. No file footage of the invasion. It's their own site. It's total BS. Total BS. And that is today's topic. Total BS of the extremists, you know, some more border BS. I think that's going to be the name of the title. I haven't really figured out what yet, but that's what I'm talking about here. So, hope you all have been doing well. Hope you all keep taking care of each other. Still variants of the virus, and keep on practice being safe, okay? Hope y'all having a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out.